Russian officials in Damascus are going to hammer out an action plan for Syria's chemical disarmament in line with a deal to avert a U.S. military intervention. Those threats followed last month's sarin gas attack blamed by Western powers on the Assad regime. But Russia says there's now fresh evidence implicating Syrian rebels in that war crime. Our correspondent Maria Finoshina is in Damascus with the latest.
Russia's deputy foreign minister is now in Damascus to discuss the deal that Moscow and Washington agreed on earlier in Geneva, according to which Syria has to destroy or remove its chemical weapons by mid-2014 and before, and that is maybe even more important, hand over a full list of its stockpiles within a week. Following the meeting with the Syrian foreign minister, Russia's diplomat said that the talks were constructive and that Damascus understands the importance of this listing and is fully aware of the consequences in case it doesn't do it, because it was agreed that if Syria fails to comply, the deal could be enforced by a UN resolution backed by the threat of sanctions or military force. Russian officials say they received what Syrian government calls the evidence that the radical rebels are behind the deadly chemical attack last month that reportedly killed hundreds of civilians, including children. A UN probe recently confirmed that sarin gas was indeed used here in Syria, but it didn't answer the question exactly who was responsible for that, although this is a very important question. A location from where the rockets were launched was neither pinpointed by UN investigators, although their findings clearly state that the sarin-tipped warheads could have been amateur-made, not factory-produced. But despite all this, these questions that still remain open in this case, US and its allies were very quick to claim that this UN report was enough to blame the Assad government for this attack last month. This is something Russia is strongly opposed to, on the contrary, saying that there is a mounting evidence that the radical Syrian rebels are behind the atrocity. In an interview to RT, Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov, who is now in Damascus, said that a UN report is one-sided.
That report was distorted. We think conclusions that were drawn by the group of experts are not sufficient. We are amazed by the ways how easy some far-reaching analysis has been produced on the basis of what we believe is a rather deficient amount of information. We have posed several questions when this report was discussed among Security Council members. So before we begin talking on what to do next, we need to figure out why it is so and why the group of UN experts is not going, as of now, yet to Syria to continue investigation.
Some members of the U.S. intelligence community who say that, and they warned the White House about that, there are indications that the rebels are behind this attack, and also there are indications that they received nerve gas from abroad. Meanwhile, an amateur footage appeared online allegedly showing Syrian jihadists wearing gas masks and firing rockets and shells in the middle of the night, and this video was set to be shot on the 21st of August, the date of that attack that killed many civilians and provoked a huge international resonance. But of course, this video is very hard to be verified, and still there are many questions in this story, and this is why Moscow is calling for a full and complete UN investigation in order to determine exactly who is responsible for the attack here in Syria last month.
Pentagon veteran Michael Malouf says there's evidence to suggest chemical weapons have been smuggled to al-Qaeda-linked extremists in Syria from neighboring Turkey.
I have a report from a source who has direct connections with to classified information. It's one page. I'm expecting others. It's classified, secret, no foreign. It's from the NGIC, or the National Ground Intelligence Center. The U.S. military did an assessment based upon 50 indicators and clandestine interviews that the sourcing of sarin originated out of Iraq and into Turkey before some of it was confiscated in May in Turkey, and that there has actually been a more significant amount of sarin production both in Iraq and in Turkey going to the opposition, principally Al-Qaeda. And we've had separate reports now that Al-Qaeda elements are rather significant in numbers and now have permeated into the opposition. So the ability to be able to distinguish who gets what and where makes it much more problematic for this administration.
RT has requested an official response from the Pentagon on that leaked document, but the Department of Defense simply said it refuses to comment on the matters of intelligence. Stay with RT for the latest on this developing story on air and online.